How's everybody doing?
Welcome. Hey, it's Randy and Hillary here. Today, we're going to talk about how to launch a new product or service in your business. You're excited. You've come up with a good idea. Heck, maybe you even wrote it on a napkin sitting at a restaurant or something with some friends, and you came up with a great idea for something that you want to add to your business or a new business you want to add completely. The important part here is to make sure that you have a plan moving forward and that you take the time necessary to make sure that it's a quality product or service that you're ready to launch for your customers. And at the very beginning, it starts with having the plan to make sure that you cover every detail. Don't rush into it, because if and when you do rush, you're going to miss something, you're going to cut some corners, and you're going to find yourself providing a product or service that your customers or clientele, quite frankly, just aren't going to enjoy, and they're not going to buy from you. So the first step is, while you're incredibly excited, and we're happy and excited for you, take your time. Develop a plan, have an organization, create the process in order that you're going to go through, or your strategy, if you will, to make sure that you get to the point that you want to be effectively.
So now that you have this brilliant idea that perhaps you came up with on a cocktail napkin sitting in some restaurant or at a park, since no one goes to eat anymore, you have to think about like who you're trying to sell this to and why they want it. And part of the plan is laying out the concept, that you've thought of this idea, and you've got to have the plan behind how you're going to get this through. And so you want to make sure that you've laid out a strategic map of how you're going to get from the bar napkin to actually offering this product. And realistically, it's going to take 10 to 12 weeks to get it all done. That's just the market average of how long it takes to roll out a new project or concept in the world. So then once you have all your concept fleshed out, how are you going to track whether or not it's working? And obviously everyone likes Facebook likes and Instagram likes and whatever, but that's not necessarily a true measure of whether or not your concept is what somebody wants to buy. You may not be able to tell if your concept works for 3 to 6 months. So along the way, you have to kind of remember to not quit and just keep going, because the true measure of whether or not it's successful is not going to be apparent right away. And then go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add that, it's one thing to have amazing goals for your new product or service, or you're starting an entirely new business, but it's also important to be realistic and using those measurements, or metrics is the term that we use, and deciding what metrics you're going to use to evaluate and determine if you're moving forward in your business. And again, don't be too aggressive, be honest, be realistic, and look for those things that are going to be truly key indicators on determining if your business or your launch is moving forward in the speed and the success rate that you're looking for. So once you get your concept that you get put in place, you have your strategy put in place, and you have all your deadlines, then it's important to be thinking about how you're going to market your product. How are you going to get your message out in front of the world through various social media platforms or otherwise, and coming up with a way, or more importantly, a strategy of making sure that you can get that information in front of your ideal avatar or your client in the most efficient and effective way. And one great way to do this is using a content calendar. There's several of them on the market. There is, what's one we use? Tailwind, Content Cal, I think, is another one. So there's several of them on the market, where what you can do is you can schedule your time, create all of your social media posts, and schedule them out for an entire month so that they'll post automatically to all the platforms that you want, rather than trying to wake up every day and think of, gosh, what is it that I want to post today to talk about my new product or service or what I'm doing in my business, but rather doing it in an organized, strategic manner so that you can ensure that your message gets out in front of your clientele in the proper strategic way.
And an easy way to do that with social media is to basically make each day of the week, or if you're only going to post 4 days a week instead of 7, having a theme for each day of the week. So Monday is like, show a picture of what you're working on if it's tied to your content. And Tuesday is like, I don't know, what's Tuesday like?
Could be a call to action of do this specific task to help them move forward in whatever product is or service that you're selling. The third day could be a celebration, quite honestly. And the fourth one could be anything, but really coming up with the idea for that strategy is not just randomly posting your product or your social media content about whatever it is that you're doing, but rather having a strategy that you're saying, one day a week, I'm going to focus on this aspect of my business. And one day a week, I'm going to focus on this aspect of what I'm doing. So that as you're going to plan that out for the entire month, it'll be way easier and simpler. And quite honestly, it'll be more efficient for you and your time.
And then the last thing you want to do when you're starting a new project or concept launch is figure out what day you're going to launch it. And obviously that has to be tied to the social media and the email campaign and whatever website stuff you're doing. And sometimes you just got to jump. Like if you keep waiting until it's perfect, you're never going to get off the ledge. And so if you know anything about entrepreneurs, a lot of them have crashed and burned. But the reason that they're successful at what they do is because they kept getting up. So just jump, figure out a day that you're going to do it and do it. Quit changing it. Don't second guess it. Just kind of do it. Because sometimes that's half the battle. It's just getting in the pool and swimming.
Yeah, another train of thought there is you could also, once you pick your launch date, whatever it's going to be, again, likely it's 10 to 12 weeks minimum out from when you came up with your cocktail napkin idea, is reverse engineer it. Say, I want this to be live and effective on this date, and then start working backwards. What are the things that need to be in place in order for that to be effective? And then you come up with that schedule that takes you from your launch date back to the date you created the idea. So if you have any questions, obviously reach out to us. We just released a new blog yesterday, that if you want to read a little bit more about this, we'll throw a link to that in the comments below. Also, we've created a kind of a quick how-to SOP. You hear us talking about standard operating procedures a lot. That's a template that would help you to kind of create some of this information and help you to stay on track. So if you're interested, that'll be down in the links below as well.
But otherwise, next week, we're going to talk about content marketing as far as marketing your new product or service or whatever it is you're trying to launch. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.